Exciting day. This is something that we've been working for several years, actually starting about 20 years ago almost now when we did the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the market. We had some old photos and we were looking at it and we said, whatever happened to that fountain? I wish we could find one of those fountains and get it back there and restore it and actually have it operating at the market. So we're very, very glad to be here today. My name is Jim Farr and I'm actually the director of the market. And we have a lot of folks here we're going to thank today and tell you the story of how we actually found this fountain. And to start us off with this saga, we have Mayor Lovely Warren here to start us off on this journey. So, Mayor Warren.
You'll be able to find Nancy anywhere. I want to thank Jim Farr and his team here at the Public Market, as well as Commissioner Danielle Lyman-Torres from our Department of Youth and Recreation Services. Let's please give them a big round of applause. So I usually try to ad-lib, but they told me that I have to go through these remarks because it includes everyone that we need to thank, so please bear with me. Thank you for joining us here today for the unveiling of this historic fountain, an exact replica of the original fountain that was a landmark here at the Public Market during the early 1900s. Richard Moe of the National Trust for Historic Preservation once said, "Preservation is in the business of saving communities and the value they embody." And so it is with the reinstallation of this historic fountain, given to the City of Rochester as a gift by the National Humane Alliance in celebration of the market's grand opening in 1905. This fountain was one of 125 originally made. Its original purpose was to provide water for horses, and you have our great horses here. Let's give them a big round of applause. Dogs and humans, with each species having their own tier to drink from. You see, back then, people realized it was important to make sure that everyone and everything had access to what they needed to coexist. And in this case, it was ensuring that all of God's creatures had access to something as simple and essential as life-giving water. As time changed, cars replaced the horses, and every home had running water. The fountain became less important. Suddenly, it was in the way of progress. It was removed and pretty much forgotten. But in the words of Longfellow, that which the fountain sends forth returns again to the fountain. We are fortunate to have this fountain back in our midst, a historic treasure that has been returned to grace this market once again. It will serve as a reminder of days gone by, but with any hope, it will also remind us of the importance of our community. It will remind us that the Public Market is a place where everyone is welcome and where you can get nourishment for the body as well as the soul. And while we don't have many horses and dogs, we have many horses roaming around and dogs roaming around the market stalls anymore. We wanted to recognize our mounted patrol to remind us of the old days and to test this new water supply. The reinstallation of this fountain would not have happened without the goodness and generosity of so many very special people that I must thank and acknowledge from the bottom of my heart, and many of them I met this morning. I want to extend my gratitude, my deepest gratitude, to Dr. Bill Valente and the Valente family. Let's give them a big round of applause. To Ellen Google and the Google family for their extremely generous and substantial donation. And if you look at their teachers, it says, "It's where my story begins, Rochester, New York." We love it. I want to thank representatives from both families that are here today. You'll hear from them in a moment, but please join me in thanking some other folks. I also want to thank the Community Foundation. Jennifer Leonard is here for their generous support of the project. And I would be remiss if I did not thank a few others, the Market District Business Association for their financial support, T.Y. Lynn International and C.P. Ward for their outstanding work and commitment to make this fountain functional again. So, and although they are not here today, we also must thank Benny and Marge Oliveri for agreeing to sell us this fountain. I don't think they realized our history was sitting in their backyard. Let's give them a big round of applause. Oh, hey, okay, thank you, Benny. We appreciate it for bringing it back home. I also want to thank the great friends of the Rochester Public Market that invest so much. We truly, truly appreciate you. I want to thank the people that purchased bricks that will be installed here. My good friend Gary Rogers is here with his mother as well. Thank you so very, very much. Dedicated a brick to his brother who passed away, that spent all his days here when the market was open. I know I've been talking for a while, but there was a lot to say and a lot of people who deserve recognition and gratitude for the role they played in making this event happen. I also want to say that we have a great leader of our public market that has taken this public market and made it the #1 market in the country, and that is Jim Farr. Let's give him a big round of applause. So I'll get in trouble if I don't thank the people that control the checkbook. City Council President Loretta C. Scott is here, as well as Councilmember Mitch Gruber. And Mike Patterson.
Thank you. And there's another person that we really got to thank too, and that's Evan Lowenstein. And Evan's actually the one that did all the research and found this fountain in Benny's backyard in Binghamton, New York, and went down there and looked at it and decided it was something that we had to have. And then to continue the saga of the fountain's journey, Benny had a price that he wanted. We had a price that we thought it was worth. So we had Roz Goldman, who's right here, who's a professional art appraiser, who went down and we took photos. Roz did a professional appraisal, and we were able to come to a price that we both agreed on. So we want to thank Roz for taking that role in here too. And I'd just like to, for 1 second, call Loretta Scott up to the podium, because Loretta's the one that had the vision in the 90s when she first sent me over here in the early 90s and told me to go to the market until they figured out what they were going to do with it. And had a master plan and helped us really get this whole market project going. So,
thank you, Jimmy. But you know, if I had to identify a single individual whose hard work and commitment, whose determination, and whose bug you every minute kind of determination caused this to happen, it would be Jimmy Farr, or Jamie Farr, as some people call him, right? But it's said that without vision, the people perish. And what you have here is the evidence of that. There was a vision. We created a vision for this market, that it wouldn't just be, it was an asset, but in some ways it was looked at as an annoyance because it wasn't earning its keep. We didn't look at it, the value that it brought to our community. And it is a community in and of itself. There is a whole neighborhood of people who've been here for years and years and years. So when we were able to establish a vision for it, and to then let other people see it as well, the money started to come, because we didn't think there was enough money. But it's amazing that if you have the will, you can find a way. So I want to thank everybody who's been involved in helping this to be all that it can be. And there's so much more to come. Thank you for being here today.
And another person that's standing right in front of me here with a Nikon camera strap around him is Jack Walsh. And Jack is a person that just loves these fountains and has traveled all the way from Darby, Connecticut this morning to come here and be part of us with this. Now I'd like to introduce our Northeast Area Councilperson, Michael Patterson.
I'll be brief. Any day you're at the market on a Saturday is a wonderful day. We've always had an amazing market, but it didn't always look amazing. Now it does. And this is just another capstone project that connects us to our history and sends a resounding message out there that we love and care for this place. Thank you.
I just have this poster that shows originally this market had 1,300 horse teams on it on a Saturday, so this fountain was critical to the success of the market in the early days. You heard the Valenti family thanked, and there's a story with that. The Valenti, their parents had a business on this market for many years. I think it went from the 50s to the 80s, and they have a deep history here. And I was actually doing a spot on Spectrum TV talking about the bricks and the fountain, and Dr. Bill Valenti called me and said, "Jim, I want to talk about something related to the fountain." I go, "So do you want a brick?" And he goes, "Oh no, not a brick. Just stop over to my office and we'll talk." So I went over there and talked to Bill, and he goes, "I don't beat around the bush." He goes, "Just let me throw out a number. How's 25,000 sound?" And I said, "Great." And so we have the Valenti family here today. I don't think they really want to say anything, but we just want to, there's a beautiful plaque over there that really signifies the love they have for their parents, Rose and Alphonse. And like I said, they had the business here right where Flower City produce is now for many, many years. So thank you, and let's have a big round of applause. Another critical donor was the Google family. And early on, when we were first started to talk about this project, this young gentleman, Scott Wagner, that's over there, raise your hand, Scott. He said, "You know, I may have somebody, they love the market, and I might be able to hook you up with them, and they may be willing to give some dollars towards this project." And they were actually our first donors, and they were the ones that made it possible for us to bring the fountain back up here from Binghamton and do all the things that we had to do to get this project started. So I'd like to introduce Ellen Google, and she's going to say a few words.
Everybody's been thanked already. I just am really thankful for the opportunity from Mayor Warren and Jim Farr, and Evan Lowenstein was critical, and Scott Wagner was finally thanked for bringing it to our attention. One of the reasons I wanted to do this, just quickly, we came into an inheritance when my mother died a few years ago. It was split up 7 ways. I have 6 living siblings. 5 of them, or 4 of them are behind me. I lost count. Some are here, some aren't. And I wanted to do something in Rochester in memory of my parents, because the money was made in Rochester. Even though I don't live here anymore, I really felt strongly that something should be done here. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
And that was great, and you can tell the passion, and that's something about the market. People are just passionate about the market. And another critical part of this was the Rochester Area Community Foundation, and they actually, when they heard about this, they came up with some money, with $7,500 for a challenge grant. For if we could sell that many bricks or get other donations, they would come through with a challenge grant for us. So that was very critical, and I want to introduce Jennifer Leonard, the president of the association, to talk for a second.
Thanks, Jim, and good morning, everybody. Poet W.H. Auden once said that we must love one another or die. He also said that thousands have lived without love, none without water. Today we acknowledge the centrality of water and the connections between people by bringing back an historic feature of our nationally recognized public market. This 6-ton granite water fountain first quenched the thirst of humans, horses, and dogs when the market was new, as you heard, when Rochester was booming in the early days of the last century. Progress passed it by for a faster way of life, and it disappeared. But as you heard, the enterprising staff and friends of the public market recently found this sister fountain and have brought it back for a newer generation of Rochesterians to be able to meet you at the fountain. Community Foundation grant support of $7,500 is made possible by the Gonsenhauser Family Fund. Thinking of family farms, which supports animal welfare and urban farming. In addition, Community Foundation grant support will match your gifts for those who love the market. There's a form for you to fill out, right over here by all of the beautiful sample bricks that will become part of the permanent welcome plaza around the fountain. Now, water fountains feed both our bodies and our collective spirit. Congratulations to the City of Rochester, Friends of the Public Market, and their partners for restoring this central gathering place to feed us all and build our futures. Thank you.
We also have some members of the Market District Business Association here. Could we just have them raise their hands? They also were very instrumental. They gave us a grant, and they do a lot of things in the area here. They're very critical to the success of this whole district. And we have folks from the Friends of the Public Market that we've talked about, but the Friends are administering all the funds for this. They're actually our fiduciary. They're paying all the bills and doing all that important stuff. There's a couple more folks, but I won't mention them yet because first I want to introduce our Commissioner, Danielle Lyman-Torres, and she's going to give us some remarks.
Well, everyone has been so rightfully thanked and acknowledged. I just want to once again call attention to the families and the people who have been touched by this market, and that this fountain is a marker of that memory. This is all about people. So we have done tremendous, brick and mortar investments here, but the spirit of this market is about the people of this community, past, present, and future. And to watch the families that stand behind me and the connection that they have felt so strongly to this particular place, so strongly that they have not only made this investment, but they are emotionally moved by this installation because it reminds them of an experience they had here with their family. And so while we celebrate, I want to make sure that we are celebrating more opportunities with families and community members going forward to create experiences here that are things that will shape your children in the future. They will always remember their time here at the market, as will you. So I know that we've all talked about the horses. I have to be the one to say I hope we do more than just lead them to water. I hope they take a drink. I make no promises that they actually will. They are independent-minded. But I thank Jim and the staff again for everything today, but mostly want to acknowledge the family standing behind me. Thank you.
All right, we're almost ready for the unveiling, but there's just a couple more folks that I have to call out. One of them is behind me here, Steve Phillips. Steve, raise your hand. Steve's with CP Ward, and CP Ward transported the fountain up here, built this beautiful plaza, placed the fountain, replumbed the fountain, and Steve did a lot of the design, and he got a passion for this project. Did a lot of design in his head and on a napkin, but it came out beautiful. He had some great folks up here working on it, and just a big hand for CP Ward. And one more quick person I want to thank, and that's T.Y. Lynn International. T.Y. Lynn International, and Dennis Canelli's here. Dennis, raise your hand somewhere. T.Y. Lynn did a lot of the design and engineering work for us gratis for this, so they donated their time to do that. So again, this wouldn't have been possible without lots and lots of people. And I think we're almost to the point where we're going to unveil the fountain.
Hallelujah.
I don't think I forgot. Somebody said hallelujah. Well, anyhow, let's get a representative from the families. And Bill, do you want to kind of orchestrate this?
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
We'd like to invite the horses over to take a drink, so please give them some room.